Bonnie Swanson might seem like the sweet, quiet housewife next door, but longtime Family Guy fans know she's anything but innocent. From her dark sense of humor to some seriously questionable decisions, Bonnie has had her fair share of jaw-dropping moments. Whether she's pushing Joe's buttons or revealing some unexpected secrets, her actions have left fans shocked and sometimes cringing. Today we're counting down the worst moments of Bonnie Swanson. Let's dive into the chaos. The first episode on our list, The Hand That Rocks a Wheelchair, starts with Bonnie leaving the city to visit her sick father.
I was hoping that while I was gone, you could look in on Susie and Joe.
Lois accepts her request, and just like every other mother on this planet, she dumps that responsibility onto her daughter Meg. The following morning, Meg heads out to Joe's home, who is surprised to see her.
Well, I'm here to help you out while Bonnie's gone.
So just like that, Meg starts to take care of Joe while Bonnie is gone. This includes her taking care of his food, his body, and the worst of all, his diaper problems. After she is done, she realizes that it's time for school, so she leaves, but Joe suggests that he drop her in his car. On their way to the school, Meg asks Joe what it's like to be a paraplegic. Joe tells her that it's a common saying in the handicap community that,
when life ruins your legs, you just gotta make lemonade.
Not gonna lie, that was pretty hilarious. Unlike my jokes that even I can't laugh at. Joe drops Meg at the school when she realizes that maybe Joe isn't that bad and decides to further enhance their relationship. First, she starts by dressing a bit more provocatively, which is kind of weird since she is still a minor. If that wasn't enough, she even starts calling Joe by his name, which makes Joe feel a bit awkward, but he lets it slide as it's not doing anyone harm. Or that's what he thought. As soon, Meg starts wearing Bonnie's dresses and even tries to seduce Joe.
Hi, honey.
What? What'd you say?
I just said hi.
After failing to seduce Joe, Meg thinks that it's all Bonnie's fault, so she decides to remove her from Joe's life. But while she is thinking of her evil plan, she hears the phone ring, and when she picks it up, she finds that it's from Bonnie.
Oh, hi, Meg. It's Bonnie. How's everything going there?
Oh, great.
Has Joe died?
What?
What did Joe do to her for her to hate him that much? Back to Meg. She sneaks into Joe's room later at night and steals his gun and car keys. She then drives to the airport where she puts the gun into Bonnie's bag so that she will be arrested and put into jail.
Ma'am, is this your bag?
I don't know how that cocaine got in there.
Wait, what? Why does she have cocaine in her bag in the first place?
Ma'am, this bag contains a concealed weapon. I'm gonna have to place you under arrest.
What happened to the coke?
I don't think that's important.
There's no coke in here.
Oh, Ricardo's gonna kill me.
Oh, now I see. Maybe, yeah, that was indeed important. Meanwhile, Meg is enjoying her time alone with Joe, and she even heads out on a candlelight dinner with him. This is where Joe starts to get suspicious that Meg might have a crush on him, and being a responsible adult, he decides to tell the Griffins about it.
Meg has a crush on me.
Lois confronts Meg about it, and after confirming that she indeed has a crush on him, she makes sure to let her know that they aren't compatible.
But think about it, Meg. You two have nothing in common.
Normally, any sane person would have stopped here, but not Meg.
Meg! What the hell did you do?
Joe immediately takes Meg to the hospital where fortunately she recovers and even apologizes to Bonnie that she got her arrested. Things end on a good note and everyone goes back to their normal lives. But are we just going to ignore that Bonnie was trying to smuggle coke? The previous episode was still not the worst from Bonnie, as she at least didn't try to murder Joe. But in this episode, things are a bit different. The episode, Brian the Closer, starts with Brian finding his old rope toy, which was casually sitting under the couch for many years. Peter finds the rope to be amusing and asks Brian to give it to him.
Come on, Brian, I need this rope in case I open a nautical-themed restaurant.
Brian doesn't like the idea, so he tells Peter to go away since it's his rope. However, Peter isn't so easy to give in, so he keeps on trying different strategies to win the rope from Brian.
No, I don't want to make that trade.
The failure causes Peter to become even more obsessive, so he tries to get more creative with his approach. He ties the rope to another rope and then ties the other half to his car.
Come on, Brian, you better let go. I told you this is mine. You're never gonna get it.
Peter doesn't like his tone, so he speeds up the car and starts flinging Brian from one side to another while poor Brian barely manages to hold the rope with his teeth. That's not how you park your dog, Peter. Brian becomes hideous after losing all of his teeth, which makes a joke in the family. Even Peter trashes him for looking like an anteater.
You know what? Go to hell, Peter.
Brian is extremely depressed, so just like every other depressed dude in the world, he decides to drown himself in alcohol at the bar. At the Drunken Clam, he meets Quagmire, who surprisingly doesn't care much about his goofy appearance.
I don't care enough about you to lay into you. But now that you mention it, your face looks like a used condom.
Quagmire's heart becomes soft after seeing him like this, so he hits him up with his dentist so Brian can get a new set of teeth.
I won't forget this, Glenn Quagmire.
So using Quagmire's contact, he is able to get a brand new set of teeth, which make his already big smile even bigger. In fact, his smile is so big that a couple looking for a house to buy mistakes him for a real estate agent and even buys a property from him. Seeing this, a real estate agent approaches Brian and hires him for his company.
Look at that smile. You're a born salesman.
With his new job, Brian decides to sell some houses, and one of his buyers is Bonnie Swanson. Now this is where things get interesting. The house she is currently looking for is not in a great condition, as it has a bad foundation, not to mention that it's slanting down and might sink into the nearby cliff one day.
Bonnie, I still don't get why you want to see this house.
Yeah, he is right, Bonnie. I mean, who would buy such a house when your life is at constant threat? Now I understand why she wanted the property. Yikes. The episode continues on with Brian scamming Quagmire into buying a terrible condo, which results in him getting his teeth knocked out once again. If the previous episode was not the worst we had from Bonnie, but this will definitely change your mind. The episode, Better Off Meg, starts with Meg coming home and realizing that no one is there. She immediately calls Lois to ask where the rest of her family is, but instead, she receives this.
Well, this can't be Meg. She's with us here at the pier.
That doesn't look like Meg. In fact, I would say that she looks even better than the real Meg. Lois hands the phone to Peter, who asks Meg to prove that she is the real Meg. He asks her a few questions like what's her birthday, but since even he doesn't know, he simply just hangs up. Since Meg has nothing to do at home, she decides to go out bowling where she submits her ID at the counter. Later at night, the Griffins are watching TV when Joe comes knocking at the door. He reveals to them that Meg has died in a car crash and her body was burnt beyond recognition. This causes the family to look in shock at the barrel that they have been sitting on all day as they finally realize that it's not the real Meg. Took them long enough to notice, but well, it is what it is.
Oh, dear God, no!
While Lois is still crying, Joe hands them Meg's ID, which still has blood on it. After giving it over to them, he consoles them for their loss and leaves. Meanwhile, the real Meg is watching the TV when Tom Tucker reveals that the girl who died near his apartment in a car crash was Meg Griffin, who was recognized only by her ID.
What? I'm not dead.
At first, Meg is shocked, but then she comes to the conclusion that it's way better this way.
So I guess I'm dead. And no one cares.
While Meg has come to realize that no one loves her, her family is making preparations for her funeral. At the church, everyone is sitting in condolences for Meg. Bonnie and Joe are there as well, and this is where Bonnie reveals her intrusive thoughts.
God, I wish it was Joe in that box.
I do too, bud.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Does she really hate Joe that much? Or is she just tired of taking care of the crippled man? The episode continues on with Meg running away from the town and settling in a new apartment, but she quickly realizes that she misses her family and decides to go back home and apologize to them for faking her death.
I'm sorry I faked my own death, Mom.
It's okay, Meg. Faking stuff is part of being a woman. Women fake a lot of things. You fake your death. I fake orgasms.
I don't know how to feel about this one. Are all women the same? I'm sure mine's different. Bonnie's wish to make Joe dead is so powerful that in this episode, she does something even crazy. In the episode, 3 Acts of God, Peter and his friends head out to watch an NFL game between the Patriots and the Bills, but just like always, the Patriots lose, making our friends in Quahog extremely angry.
Oh, come on!
My God, 10 losses in a row?
This whole season's been one long bad dream.
Oh my god, I thought it only happened to me. Looks like I am not that big of a pervert that I made myself to be. To wash away their sorrow for losing yet another game, Peter and the boys head to the Drunken Clam to get some cold and refreshing beer. While they are drowning themselves in alcohol, they watch the post-game interview on the TV, where the opposite team thanks God for their win over the Patriots. Peter is extremely angry that God is interfering with football, and decides to do something about it.
It's time someone told God to stay where he belongs, in our schools, and telling people where they can stick their wieners.
The boys are extremely eager to follow alongside Peter and find God, especially Joe, who goes one step ahead to directly meet God in the straightest way possible.
Whoa, Joe, what the hell?
What? I thought, find God was a code word.
I mean, he isn't technically wrong. It's like that one time I told a trans kid on Reddit to find God, and the next day his mom posted that he unalived himself.
Well, I already texted Bonnie.
I mean, it's fine. It's not like Bonnie is going to burn the house just because Joe isn't in her life anymore. Oh well, spoke too soon. Well, now we know what a female Joker would have looked like in The Dark Knight by Christopher Nolan. The episode continues on with Peter and his friends visiting all the spiritual places in the world, which includes Rome, Jerusalem, and
India, the most spiritual country in the world. God is not here.
after not finding God anywhere, the group has no choice but to give up. But just then, death appears and it takes them directly to God up above in the heavens. It turns out that God in The Family Guy is mildly autistic, and after giving them a random task to make the coach of the Patriots smile, he agrees to not interfere anymore. The next episode on our list is probably the worst from Bonnie, but hey, at least Joe deserved what he got in the end. The episode, Believe It or Not, Joe is Walking on Air, starts in the Drunken Clam, where the boys are enjoying their boys' time, when suddenly the woman decides that it would be fun to hang out at the Drunken Clam as well.
Oh my god, that was so much fun.
You know, boys, we just might make this our regular spot.
After hearing this, Peter isn't able to take it anymore and decides to unalive himself using Joe's handgun.
Peter!
Or at least he wanted to do it. However, in reality, he can't just unalive himself because the show makes the studio too much money. So he decides for an alternative path, which is to create a men's club where only men can do men things.
It took 6 weeks and cost $8,000, but it was worth it.
The men are enjoying their fine time all alone, but their wives aren't happy with it. Of course they are not happy. They are never happy.
We should march in there and remind them that they have wives.
Who needs enemies when you have wives like this?
Hey, boys, mind if we join the party?
Peter obviously minds, but the rest of the boys are more than happy to dance along with the women, which causes Peter to become upset. Aside from Peter, Joe is also upset because everyone is dancing, but he can't since he is a cripple. This makes him very depressed, so he decides that it's about time he make a stand for himself.
Doc, I can't take it anymore. I want to walk again. I'll do whatever it takes.
Fortunately for Joe, the doctor has just the right legs for him, and Joe agrees to undergo a leg transplant.
All right, Doc, I trust you.
Good. Now I'll just pop in the how-to video and we'll get started.
What?
No way they predicted the post-ChatGPT era doctors. Fortunately, the surgery goes fine and Joe gets himself a new pair of working legs.
Well, what do you think?
After getting new legs, Joe starts to make up for everything that he had missed, which causes him to stray further and further away from his old friends. Eventually, one day, he breaks off with them since they can't catch up with him anymore.
I can't believe it. Joe just dumped us.
It's not just his old friends. Joe also starts to spend less and less time with Bonnie, which eventually leads to him breaking off with her as well.
I need to spread my legs and fly.
That sounds awkwardly gay, but it's alright. It's 2025. We don't judge anyone on their taste anymore, except that one time when I told that one asexual guy to go himself, and he did. Peter and his friends are not happy that the old Joe is gone, so they decide to take things into their own hands.
Boys, there's only one answer. We gotta re-cripple Joe.
However, they underestimate this new Joe, who is easily able to outmatch all three of them and still can do it all day. However, a wise man once said, "Don't bring your fists into a gunfight." Joe underestimated Bonnie's determination to make him cripple, so she decides to do it herself.
Bonnie, what the hell? Put my gun down.
Not until I have my husband back.
Joe is extremely terrified that she might shoot him in the crotch next time, so he decides to do it himself. Well, the last episode wasn't so bad, as at least Bonnie still wanted to be with Joe. But the next episode on our list is where things go really bad. The episode Foreign Affairs starts with Lois and Bonnie heading out to France on their girly trip. Lois just wanted to see the beauty of Paris, but Bonnie, on the other hand, had some different plans.
Lois, I should probably tell you, I didn't come all the way here to go to museums and shops. I came here to have an affair.
Can we have an episode where Bonnie doesn't try to kill Joe or cheat on him? Please? Lois is confused, so she asks Bonnie if she has someone special whom she wants to have an affair with, but Bonnie tells her that she will have an affair with anyone.
I'll even do a Muslim if I have to.
Lois is afraid that Bonnie might be doing it out of desperation, so she tries to explain to her that relationships do not work like this.
Look, no marriage is perfect, but Joe's the man you gave your life to. And besides, you have a little girl.
Bonnie pretends to agree to Lois, but later when Lois visits her, she finds that Bonnie is already having a freaky time with someone else.
I just needed a change from Joe. Lois, this is Francois.
Oh, so you just went from one cripple to another. Wow, great. Also, I think at this point, Bonnie might have a type. Bonnie tells Lois that she loves Francois very much and that she wants to stay with him in Paris. Lois obviously isn't very happy with her decision, so she calls Joe to have him solve this problem by himself.
What are you doing here?
I came as soon as Lois told me, Bonnie.
To prove his love for her, Joe even stands up from his wheelchair and confesses to Bonnie that he will do anything for her.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
The episode ends with Joe and Bonnie sharing a kiss, as it is revealed that it was Quagmire who was tied up behind Joe's back to help him stand up. His sacrifice will forever be remembered. Cheating with the man was still not the worst from Bonnie, as in this episode, The Heartbreak Dog, she cheats on Joe with Brian, a dog. The episode, The Heartbreak Dog, starts with Bonnie and Joe celebrating their anniversary at their house, where Brian finds Bonnie crying in her room all alone. He tries to console her, but this is where things go wrong.
You're a good girl. You're gonna be okay.
Oh boy, the white women are never beating the allegations. Bonnie immediately realizes that this was a bit immoral, so she asks Brian to not tell anyone. However, Brian feels guilty of kissing his friend's wife, so he asks Peter what he should do. But Peter, being Peter, isn't able to stomach the secret and ends up telling Joe that Bonnie kissed Brian on the night of their anniversary.
The other night at your party, Brian kissed Bonnie.
What?
Joe can't believe that Bonnie would ever do this, but when Bonnie confirms that she did, Joe becomes shocked that his wife would ever kiss someone behind his back.
I know, making out with a dog? Can you even imagine a woman who possibly does that for real?
I know, Peter, I can, except for those videos that I saw on a certain website years ago. Things get heated very quickly, and the result is Brian and Bonnie running away together to start a new life somewhere far away.
They don't get us, Bonnie. And you deserve better than this. We both do. You know what? Let's get out of here.
But after running away together, Bonnie and Brian realize that they are useless without their families, as they have no job nor savings to start a new life. This leads to countless arguments between them, which eventually leads to them getting split apart. This is where Joe comes back to take back Bonnie, as he tells her that from now on, he will try his best to make her happy, as much as he can.
Of course I want to come home, Joe. I love you.
The things end on a good note, as Bonnie and Joe once again are able to reignite the passion in their marriage and live happily ever after. And there you have it, Bonnie Swanson's worst moments laid bare. Whether she is scheming behind Joe's back or dropping some unsettling one-liners, Bonnie has proven time and time again that there's more to her than meets the eye. Did we miss any moments that left you speechless? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Family Guy deep dives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.